Cassell Brooks says it's another sad day in the city, but this time it happens to be his sad day. He found his 14-year-old son Kmart dead in Haffen Park early Friday morning.
I thought it was safe over there. I didn't know that these young men were so violent.
The medical examiner says the teen died after he was shot in the head. An avid tennis player, Kmart hit the courts Thursday afternoon. When he didn't show up after it started raining, his dad says he walked outside the park looking for him. Around 5 in the morning with no signs of him, Brooks went into the park and made the horrible discovery.
Later on, it will hit me more harder when there is no one here to talk to.
Kmart and his dad moved to the Bronx from Jamaica 2 years ago. The teen immediately made a positive impact on this community.
He the one made me believe that I can live around here safe. You know, he's a very good kid. You know, he was teaching grown-ups tennis. He even helped me set up my grill by hand one day.
These church members have been holding a crusade in the park all week. The pastor says just hours before the shooting and only feet away from where Kmart was killed, he preached about young people turning away from violence.
I think as clergymen, we need to come out further and stand up against all these things and let the world, let the country, let the community know that we are against crime, we are against violence.
And if you know anything about this shooting, call police at 1-800-577-TIPS. In the Bronx, Dean Meminger, New York 1.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Talking Crazy 88 back again with another episode for you. Wanted to do a video tonight, and it's gonna be it's a somber type of video that, in light of what's going on in Chicago, LA, Dallas, New York, there's been an insurgence of violence in the black community in the major cities, and also maybe in the smaller, medium-sized and smaller cities, where a lot of our youth are being shot to death unceremoniously. There was a young man on, I was reading this article about this young man in the Bronx who was found in Haffen Park in the Bronx on July 27th at 5 o'clock in the morning by his father. Who was shot in the back of his head. Now, this young man, Kmart Brooks, what was reported is that he was an honor student and an avid tennis player who earlier Thursday evening asked his father for some money to play tennis, to get some more tennis time at the courts in Haffen Park. Now, this broke my heart only because this young man was found by his father. His father was going to chastise him for being late. So he decided to walk around the park, the perimeter of the park, didn't find him. Went inside the park, and that's where he found his son lying in a pool of blood, holding his tennis racket. Now, apparently around 8 o'clock that evening, there was a storm in the Bronx, in the New York City area. And there was a man walking into the park and there was 4 gunshots that rang out. Now, nobody knew, it's undetermined whether or not this young man, I'm sorry about that, gang. It was unclear whether he was the intended target. But I wanted to do this video because, not only because this young man not only to go after the nigger that shot this young man, but I wanted to do something in the line of community involvement and taking ownership of your community. It can be as small as your own community block, and it could be as vast as New York City. But we got to start taking control of our community. We got to stop being afraid of the people who are a detriment to your community. See, this young man, all he wanted to do was just play tennis for the summer. He went to the park just to play tennis. He wasn't a troublemaker. He wasn't a nigger. He didn't act like a nigger, according to the reports. Could it be something different? I don't know. But I believe that he wasn't a part of any nefarious groups that's running around in this city. I mean, I've done a lot of videos about black women, the black community, the fire and brimstone videos. But this time, I just want to take a step back and realize that this is an ongoing problem for years. We're killing each other. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be a Jamaican, a black Jamaican, a black Caribbean, an Afro-Caribbean, a black man from Europe, a black man from the States, a black man from Canada. We have all one thing in common. We're black men. And black men, and as brothers, we should look out for each other. As black men, we shouldn't be out here killing each other like this. We could, especially a young man that's 14 years old. 14 years old. And nobody seems to be bothered by it, except for me. Maybe a few other people, but nobody is bothered by it except for me. I want you to read that article in the description box and look at that video. I might put it embedded in my video, or I just might do it as a link. But I want you to seriously take a look at yourselves. It doesn't matter what community you're in. You shouldn't be controlled by a small population of niggers. Okay? Haffen Park should be a haven for everybody that want to go out and enjoy the day, go out and take a swim, go play soccer in the fields, in the soccer field that they have there, or just go around, get up early in the morning and do their exercise routine. It should be a place where you should be able to enjoy yourself. Granted, at night, well, there's nothing we can do about it at night. However, there shouldn't be anything going on in that park at night. I guarantee it. Should there be more police presence there? Absolutely. Why not? There should be a police car stationed inside that park every night, like they did in Cortona, at many various parks here in New York City. Why at Haffen Park there's not a police officer there? Who knows? But that's up to the community to clamor for. You all should be out writing letters to your councilmen in the police precinct out there in the 47th precinct. Because I know the Bronx. And I know which precinct that they're located in. The 47th precinct should be involved in it. Now, believe me, I spoke ill of the police officers. And I stand by what I say. However, as a community, believe it or not, they can't do their job without your help. But you have to be your own police officers. You have to be your own police watchdog. You have to be your own community advocates. You got to take control and take ownership of your community. The niggas should not own the community. The people should own it. And there's no way that a 14-year-old boy should be shot to death in a park, just all because he wanted to get some shade from the rain at 8 o'clock at night. This boy was shot to death at 8 o'clock at night. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw anything. To me, that's a goddamn shame. But if anybody knows anything about this crime, just call Crime Stoppers, or call the 47th precinct. You don't even have to give your name or nothing. I mean, you got to stop with this stop snitching policy. There was a 14-year-old boy that died, not a nigger, but a young black man that died. That could have been anything he wanted to be in this world. I don't want this young man to die in vain. That's why I'm doing this video. Somebody has to have the courage and the guts to do it. The buck starts with me. Well, listen. I gotta run, gang. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I'm out of here, people. Oh yeah, before I go, I just have to reiterate that this has got to be one of the saddest stories or news reports that I ever heard in the past year in New York City. The boy wasn't doing anything illegal, just playing tennis. And he gets shot to death in the park where no one saw anything, which is a typical response in the black community. No one saw anything at 8 o'clock at night. All except for one other witnesses that saw a man go in the park around the same time, heard some gunshots, but didn't even bother to call 911. I mean, our community has gone so immune that even the sound of gunshots doesn't even warrant a phone call to the police. As much shit, and again, I'm going to reiterate, as much shit as I talk about the police, I'm the first one that will call the police on a nigger. Not on a black man, but on a nigger. Because if you're doing something wrong, if you're doing crime in our community, if you're up here fucking up our community, rest assured you don't belong around here. And you don't belong in my community. Here's the thing. I wish I was in a state where, let's take Texas or New Hampshire, where, it's a little bit easier for a citizen to obtain a firearms permit. Because you see, and this is what I want people to know, that your Second Amendment right is in jeopardy because of politicians who want to control when and where you can purchase your firearm, how you can protect yourself. Now, I'm not going to turn this video into something, into a Second Amendment issue, but needless to say that this boy was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what I think. I think that's the case. But for some coward to just start shooting in a park in a group of people, that's a cowardly thing to do. That's a sucker shit. That's a sucker shit, chicken shit thing to do. Nobody else got hurt. Nobody else got killed except for this young man. And the sad part about it is that his father went out to look for him and found his son's body, lifeless body, lying, holding a tennis racket in his hand. I don't know about you, but that, to me, that invokes a lot of emotion because of what's going on in our community with fathers and sons. We don't have a lot of fathers bonding with our sons. We don't have a lot of fathers raising our children. And here we got one who just came up from Jamaica to have a better life for himself and his family, but in an instance, raising a good kid, but got caught up in some bullshit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, we don't have enough people that really think out of the box in our community in protecting our children, protecting family, protecting fatherhood. This boy didn't do anything wrong, but he lost his life over bullshit. To me, that's deplorable and unconscionable, and that's why I'm doing this video. And I hope the whole world sees this video. I hope this video goes viral, which I doubt it will. But if it does, well, good. Maybe we can get the coward that killed this young man. Maybe. Who knows? Well, listen, I gotta run, people. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here.